Another rendition, another glorious morning, and me driving down the road with a red light on. What's happening, everybody? This is Stuart Knight, author of the books Marginalizing White Supremacy, Poetic Visions, A Steep Mister for a Sister, and of course, A Spirit the World Has Forgotten. And today I kind of want to give a little rant, if I can, about anti-intellectualism. You see, B1, Black First, is all about intellectualism. Because a long time ago, I came to understand that it is intellectual, thinking people who actually solve problems and issues that a community may face. But the sad thing is that throughout history, intellectuals, nerds, quiet people in a sense, have always been villainized as something, monstrous or I can't think of the right words to say. Monstrous really wouldn't be the right word, but it's something outside of the norm, outside of the societal norms. Usually, and this kind of image is portrayed by people of the extroverted makeup. But the one thing about the intellectual people, the learned people, the academic people, is they are the people who chart new pathways in society and new ideas within the world that actually carries humanity forth. And the one sad thing that I see popping up now in many of black spaces is the demonization of intellectual people. I mean, I was listening to a podcast the other day with a bunch of stupid people on there, and I ain't gonna say that. They're very smart people, but they actually, seek simple, sensationalized solutions for complex issues. And usually the end result or the end goal is to discourage any kind of efforts that some men would want to take to try to correct some of the bad things that's going on within the so-called black community. Simply because they believe that, notions of being pro-black or B1 are focused and centered around catering to women. No, that could be, as far as B1 is concerned, I can understand that notion with the conscious community and their zeal and always purporting that, the black woman is queen. I can understand that about the conscious community. But when it comes to B1, our sole purpose is to raise intellectual black men. Black men who do the best that they can to find characteristic traits within themselves that actually better themselves as men and make them more functional, not only to themselves as black men, but to society as a whole, and not just the black community. We in B1, we try to encourage men to learn themselves and to learn more things about the world, so that way, no matter where they go or what they choose to do, they can do those things with the ability to not being apologetic about being black, to be able to hold their heads high and march forward regardless of what they choose to do, whether they choose to date out, whether they choose to live in corporate America. They can still hold their head high and believe in some form of functional basis of being a black man in society with courage, respect, to be able to function and move about with courage, respect, and no fear. But this thing about people not wanting to take in regards to what those people who might be a little bit more learned than you, who might have had went through, the academic stages to get degrees and those things like that, to delegitimize the perspectives of people, of such good repute, of such, good standing in a sense. It's just idiocy. It really is. And to do so simply because you feel that or you might get some kind of feeling that people who are, more intellectualized, more thought-driven, feel that they are better than you in some way, form, or fashion. No, that's one thing, lowbrow people, I hate to say that, but that's the one thing most lowbrow people need to stop doing. Most intellectual people, most thinking people do not feel that they are better than you. In some instances, we feel that we might be a little bit less than you because we wish that we could run around and just respond simply based off of our feelings. We kind of wish we could, but we see the world in a little bit different manner. We see the world as I say, a Lego kit. There might be some problems out there, and those problems need to be solved. And people who are intellectual like to get into those things and solve those problems. And it makes humanity better as a whole, for a whole. So to take this notion that, to be, and this is another thing that they're actually going about saying, is that people of like Generation X and is it higher or lower? I don't know. When you talk about baby boomers and Generation X, it's us, as far as the pro-black spaces and B1 in particular, are trying to hold on to the notion of saving the black community and in effect saving black women, simply because we're holding on to some civil rights notions. That's the farthest thing from the truth. I'm gonna tell you what it is. What it is that Generation X is the last generation of black men who to a lesser degree were raised by single mothers. And many of the men in generations following Generation X were raised by single mothers. Thus, when they have these emotional responses to questions that are posed out in society, they're going to respond like women, because that's all that they know. And I'm not saying that to be derogatory, but that is actually what it is. They've been taught to think in a feeling sense, in an intuitive sense, in a sense of being like non-confrontational, not wanting to actually challenge a system, not wanting to challenge a wrong, not willing to, take the hard route in life, but want things easy in life. It's these men who were predominantly raised by women who are just yelling at the top of their lungs now to run away, get away. Don't put no effort in. There's nothing in it for you. This is one thing about life that a lot of these men ain't known, and simply possibly because they was raised by single mothers, those single mothers couldn't tell them, is that life is tough, no matter what route you want to take. You can take the road if you want to, with less obstacles, with less tension, with less struggle, in a sense. The easy road. You can take that all you want, and that road, honestly, most times leads to nowhere. Simply because you want to live a hedonistic lifestyle and not actually do the hard work that it takes to create principles, to generate principles and standards that you have to live by as a man for a better life, not only for yourself, but for those around you. Simply because you choose not to take that route to develop such, an ideological framework that benefits you to benefit you as a man. Simply because you want to live the hedonistic lifestyle of satisfying your whims and your wants to your desires, and not having any kind of chasteness or any kind of integrity as a man. Don't make up all these excuses about, intellectuals are bad, black first is bad, anything pro-black is bad because it caters to women. Stop, bad mouthing, those initiatives where you got men that's actually trying to buck the system of white supremacy that put us in this position. Stop bad mouthing those men and those people simply because you want to take the easy route in life. simply because you want a crop of black women that you can utilize for your own hedonistic desires, for your own hedonistic pleasures at your whim, and not even have the dignity to even I'm gonna say respect them as an individual, you know, because it's hard work to be a black man in American society, and it takes a whole lot of courage to fight against some of the false illusions that have been put forth about black men. So all you intellectualized men out there, all you men of standards and morals and principles, keep doing what you're doing and keep doing the best you can to actually foment policies, initiatives, and ideologies so that we can actually begin to wrench ourselves away from the ideals of systematic white supremacy and form a better day for ourselves as black men. It'd be a good thing if one day most of the black men ain't got to hold their heads down in the presence of white men simply because they want to, you know, keep their means together. Simply because, they got to lower their standards. They got to lower their capabilities simply to make white people feel comfortable. Keep doing what you're doing and putting out the right words and the right things. There's going to be many of people that's going to catch on, and there's going to be many of people that fall by the wayside. Those that fall by the wayside, I hope fall away real quick. Once again, this is Stuart Knight, author of the books Marginalizing White Supremacy, Poetic Visions, A Steep Mister for a Sister, and of course, the book, A Spirit the World Has Forgotten. I wish I could have articulated that a lot more clearer, but hopefully the point got across. I try. Peace.